And welcome back. We are your hosts, Dr. Bob Lee.
And I'm Veronica Güity.
Yeah. Hey, our next guest is CEO of No Fico Score Group and joins us with some more financial advice. She's no stranger to the show. We welcome back Gail Allen. Gail is in the house.
It's
Yes.
good to be here. Nice to meet you. And what a great topic that we're talking about today.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about buying homes, and you said this is the market.
This is the very best time so far within the last, I say, 4 or 5 years to buy property. If you're out there and you are a home seeker, you're buying for the first time, that means the first time within 3 years. Mean that you've not owned a primary property that you've lived in 3 years. You can pay as little as 1% for a home.
The lowest I've ever heard was 3.5%.
3.5% is FHA. Fannie Mae has a program where it's 3%.
Yeah.
But what's really nice is that Fannie Mae has a program called Homemaker.
Okay.
And this is actually reaching out to those who are working, who have marginal credit, pretty good credit.
Okay. And when you say marginal credit, what is that score?
Well, I'm speaking of something like maybe 650, 660. FHA will go as low as 585.
You're kidding.
Oh, absolutely, 3.5% down.
Wow.
Veronica, you and your husband are first time you're looking to get
looking. We're currently looking. So that's all I was saying.
What do you
I'm glad
recommend
I'm
to
getting
them?
this information
Yeah,
right now.
they're just getting into it. What do you recommend?
Well, it depends on what you want. Are you looking for a one family, single family?
I'm being into
four-
it.
Because there are a lot of people just like you looking to get in.
You know what we're actually looking is for like a mixed income, because my thing is you buy so that you can rent maybe the
All
top
right, so
portion.
you're looking for something with maybe 3 or 4 units, maybe
Exactly.
a 2-family. With FHA, you can put down as little as 3.5%.
Wow.
And you can go to the seller and say, listen, I like to finance some of my closing costs. So it would be a credit from the seller for part of your closing. Up to 6% is allowable.
Wow.
Yeah.
But with Fannie Mae, this program is excellent. Used to be that you would have to have 3% down and you would need to prove that it's your money.
Right.
But now Bob can give you the money. You can get it from a charity.
So you don't have to.
Robert, you've got a checkbook on you right
got
now.
it right.
So Bob, you wanna do this?
Yeah.
I mean, we're on there, so you're
The
gonna have
interest
to.
rate may not be 3.5 to 4%, though.
The interest rate will be 4.
Even if I lend it?
Even that's right.
I can't come up with my own
You
interest
can.
rate?
Well, I didn't say lend. You can give her the down payment.
Oh, I got you.
3%. All of it does not have to be hers, in other words.
Wow.
The borrower does not have to come up with the entire down payment.
Right.
You know, 3.5% when you're looking at $300,000 purchase or $400,000 purchase, it's still a good piece of change.
It is. It is.
And it's if you are a working family with children, it's hard to put that money away and
Right
keep
away.
it tucked away
I mean,
because
with
something's
2
always
kids,
happening.
I have 2, and that alone, like, that's difficult because babies are expensive. Kids are expensive.
Yeah. Well, what if she gets into the foreclosures?
Well, actually, you can buy a foreclosure. You would need to have your commitment, and it's not really a foreclosure. You're buying a bank that it's called real estate owned. You're buying property that is owned by the bank. In other words, this property was sent to the sheriff's sale for one reason or another. It wasn't sold.
Right.
Maybe they were asking too much, and it came back to the bank. All right, and now what they'll do is they'll recycle it, they'll put it on the market again, this time through a real estate agency.
Right.
And that agency will market the property, and it will say on the disclosures, on the MLS listing, this property is owned by the bank, it needs to be renovated.
Now that's my thing. Okay, so yes, we see these homes. They're a lot cheaper than the move-in ready houses. But if you buy this home now, you need the money to renovate. And I love Property Brothers. I'm always watching HGTV.
You watch?
I love them too.
Yeah, but we see how much they need. The reno price with Jonathan is about $500,000. Where am I coming up with $500,000? To renovate this home?
What you do is when you apply for the mortgage, Fannie Mae has a program. FHA has an excellent program. Yeah, acquisition price maybe $300, and maybe you really want to go out and you want to do $75,000 or $100,000 for renovations. They'll give you the money for the renovations as well as acquisition within one loan, and you need not refinance.
And you're a part of a bank too, so you can lend.
Absolutely. I have.
We're going to Gail. Gail, write that check.
There is Walkingburg Mortgage, excellent for first-time home buyers. interest rates are like around
Walking
4.5%, 30-year fixed. And what's really interesting is that Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FH, everyone was saying at the beginning of this year, rates are going to go up, because of what's happening in the White House. I don't know.
Right.
But it's just the opposite. Last week, the Feds lowered rates by 25, a
Yes,
quarter
I did see
point.
that,
They're expected to be lowered again in September by a quarter point and possibly October. So that's 0.75%. You know, so if your interest rate is like 5%, you can lower your rate to something like maybe 4.25%. And that would mean a lot, not just in itself, if you want to refinance to pay off a car, or if you want to refinance to pull out a little cash to buy another house.
Yeah. So now's the time to refinance, are you saying?
Now's a good time to refinance.
So let's talk about first steps, just in case this is going over someone's head. Let's talk about first
She's
steps.
really in it.
Yeah,
I'm all for it.
You want to buy a home.
Yeah.
Sally wants to buy a home.
Yep.
I'm Sally. Sally wants to buy a
There's a
home.
lot of Sallys out there like you. Yeah.
Right.
Sally wants to buy a home.
Bill and Sally would like to buy
Bill
a
and Sally want to buy a home. First up is to see a mortgage lender, right? To see how much you can qualify for, right?
Well, the first thing you want to do is like turn to one another and say, do you have any judgments, baby? Do you have any collection sugar?
First thing you should ask when you get married.
Yeah.
Do you have any judgments,
That's
baby?
right. That's right.
Any extra baggage? or
Any
anything?
extra baggage you want to tell me about right now before we go sit in front of a stranger?
Seriously.
You know. So once you do that, you go and you sit in front of a mortgage banker or a broker, and you look at your credit. You want to know what your credit's about. If you have collections and your collections are like 3, 4, 5 years old, please, whatever you do, don't pay them. Do not pay them. Okay, because they're not going to count against you when you go for a mortgage. There are some lenders that would like you to pay these collections at the closing, but don't start cleaning up at the last minute,
Right.
because what you actually do is start lowering your FICO score.
Oh, they
my
can see
gosh.
that.
You can, right.
Oh, okay.
So you want to go and speak to someone about your
Like
credit.
you.
Now, like me.
Right.
Gail
the right
Allen
person
from the
in.
No FICO Score. Call me 973-389.
There you go. What is it again?
3347.
Say it again.
973-389-3347.
Yeah.
And so once you do that, you'll receive a pre-qualification letter. Now you can go out and you can start shopping with a realtor, okay, looking for a home. I suggest that you always buy something that is affordable, something that you like, so that when you come home on Friday night, you can still like one another at the end of the month.
Right.
You know?
And you have to pay that more.
Yeah, you say, you know, I need
pull it out your hair.
$1,500 from you right now, extra. You know, so you want to make sure that it's affordable, so you can stay a happy you and a happy family.
There you go.
And always, even after you purchase a home, watch the market. Look at what's going on. Realize that also you got to be careful about taking care of the property, because property will appreciate as long as you maintain it. I've run into so many people who've had property for 15, 20 years, 25 years, no mortgage, but they have something called deferred maintenance, where you really aren't going to get the money for, or the true value of your property, if you've not maintained it through the years.
Because it's toe up from the flow up.
Go as You and Boo haven't been taking care of business. That's what it
Take care
is.
of this out.
So first up, all right, everyone, go see that mortgage broker. People are scared, I think. They always feel like they can't afford it, you know, so they don't want to take that first step in getting the home, and then they're renting for years, and all that money you've been putting into rent
Right.
could have
It's,
been going
it's money
into
right
down
out the
payment for
right
your
out the
home.
window.
And that's the fright of it all. You know, you don't know what's around the corner, but you have all the information.
Well,
and people have to gather that information of what to do, how to be.
You don't
Where to
know.
go.
No one knows what's around the corner. You know, God knows what's around the corner. So you put your faith in Him, and you put your best foot forward every time.
Yes.
If you run into trouble, the first thing you should do is admit it to one another. Hey, listen, we're in a little trouble here. And then you call your lender, and you speak to your lender, and you ask for a lower rate. And there's nothing wrong with. Listen, if you've got
And sometimes they do it.
and
They do it.
sometimes they
Yeah.
do it.
They want you to stay involved.
If you got 4.5%,
Because the bank doesn't want it.
They don't want
right.
it. They're not
That's
making
right.
money off
Yeah.
of foreclosures. They're losing money off of foreclosures. Now you've got hedge funds that are making money off of foreclosures. That's a different story.
That's a different topic.
You've got people who
together.
flip, you know, buy and flip. They're
Right.
making crazy money off
Oh,
of
yeah. Oh,
foreclosures.
yeah.
You know,
Yes.
so it is a cycle. You know, it's cyclical. You know, you're going to find yourself somewhere along the line with a 30-year mortgage in a little trouble. You know, just do something about it. Don't ignore it. Don't put your head in the sand. you know, and before you know it, you're out of whatever got you into that problem, and you can make yourself whole again.
And you have a bank because you have your equity built up in your home,
That's
and you
right.
can borrow from it and
You can-
everything at a
that's
low
it.
interest
Yeah.
rate. It's
That's
a
right.
whole
That's right.
So
thing.
important.
And
to
you
be
can
a
buy
home
other
buyer.
property.
And you can
you-
from your equity.
If you're listening and you're out there and you would like to buy a home or you're thinking about refinancing, give me a call. You can write me at letgailhelpyou@gmail.com, or you can call me at 551-276-9932. I'd love to speak with you. Whatever it is that you like to know about, ask Gail about realestate.com.
Oh,
You gotta
Gail,
go. You gonna
thank
talk to her
I'm going to
afterwards?
talk to Gail afterwards. Gail, thank you
All right.
so much.
Thank you for
Thank you,
having
thank
me.
you.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. And big shout out to the National Association of Real Estate Brokers. I
Yes.
did their big party for
Oh,
them.
I know, it was nice.
Out in Atlantic City. I was on the ones and twos. All the realtors from all over the country came by.
Yeah, yeah.
And but if there's anybody that you want to see, but big shout out to Donnell Williams. He's the new installed president too.
Okay.
And if there's anybody you need help from, Gail Allen has all that
Gail has
Ask
the
Gail
information.
about
answers.
real estate.
Yeah.
Well, we have to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with Bobby C Sports
The
Roundup.
world of sports. Watch out.